good morning, and welcome to the Sports Empire Network. As you can see at the bottom, this is Coffee and Sports Morning Show, the return. Hey, it is no better time to start a morning show than now because there's a lot of things going on around the sports world. As you can see, my dude Gene, raise it up one more time, Gene. He's drinking out the Sports Empire cup this early in the morning, drinking this coffee. I'll be your host, Freddie, this morning. And hey, by the way, it feels good. Anytime I can get on the show with Gene, it feels good. So good morning, Gene. How are you doing this morning?
What's popping, baby? I'm looking forward to great show. I love the topics. Always love coffee and sports. Just can't always get on because I got a daytime job. But Saturday morning, I'm off today. Looking forward to talking sports with you fine gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And right next to me, we have the hardest working man in Sports Empire. I mean, do you sleep? I'm not sure. Tonight, you'll find him do some type of play by play. You'll see him do a play by play tomorrow. I mean, do play by play 7 days out the week. That's the one and only Coach Dante. What's going on, Coach?
I'm fine, man. All is well. And to answer your question, I get 2 hours of sleep. That's all I get. I'm back up working.
There you go. There you go. I feel you. And we have Mr. Let me make sure I'm saying the name correctly. Maurice, right?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, making his debut on the Sports Empire Network. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's good? What's good? Good morning, everybody.
Yes, sir. Hey, Maurice, for the people that don't know you, let the people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
You can probably find me on Anchor. I've got a podcast on there. It's called Third Rail Sports, and I'm on YouTube as well with Third Rail.
Okay. Gene, real quick, just for, might have some new followers and new viewers, just tell them where they can find you at as well.
Monday night, Cheap Seats, Sports Empire Network. Wednesday night, Wire to Wire Sports. We just broke our record for most downloads in a month. So I'm super hyped about that for March. Thursday night, pregame and pigskin. And then coffee and sports whenever I can hop on.
There you go. And Coach Dante, let the folks know where they can find you at.
You can find me everywhere. I ain't hard to find. You can just find me everywhere. You can find me right here at Sports Empire Network doing the play-by-plays. I mean, you can find me on Sunday morning drive, coffee and sports in the morning, 7,200 seconds with me and my partner Key. You can just find me everywhere. And Coach Dante on YouTube. Coach Dante on YouTube.
There you go. And I'm just gonna say this. I normally don't shout out where I'm at because I've been kind of but I'm back. You can find me on Sports Empire Network for Freddie Facts. Me, Gene, Doug, and Doug has a show in the works, so stay tuned to that. And hey, you never know when where my work schedule allow. I'll pop up on Coffee Sports in one show as well. But let's get into it, you guys. Last night the NBA dropped. They made it. The NBA and the players agreed to a new CBA agreement. Did you guys have a chance to skim over it? Some of the details, any of that good things? I know the one that stood out the most to me is that now they're making the players have to play a certain number of the season to qualify for any of the awards for MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, any of them. What is your reaction to it? I'm gonna tell you, I don't really like it that much. The reason being is because I still believe a guy like Kawhi Leonard will still find a way not to play basketball. I don't think that incentivizes him. I really think it should have really hit him where it really matters, and that's the paycheck. To me, I don't think Kawhi starts off a season say, "Oh, I'm gonna go for MVP." Oh, I'm gonna go for the Defensive Player of the Year. I really don't believe this in his state of his career right now. He don't really go for those things. But Gene, what was your reaction to that?
I love how you're using Kawhi Leonard as your scapegoat there.
Well, the reason why I say that is because when Anthony Davis don't play, bro, it's because of injury. It's not because he just don't want to play.
I mean, there's a lot of players that don't play because they don't want to play, but you use Kawhi as your scapegoat, and I get it. I understand that your hate for him comes to try to push an agenda off of somebody like Anthony Davis. I get that.
So when
You're gonna ask my question. You don't let me answer my question. You're just gonna interrupt me. All right. So first of all, I think it's a step in the right direction. Anytime that you can start incentivizing people to play and making sure there's a minimum standard for people to play, you can get out of what I call the LeBron era of NBA basketball. I think that I said this before and I'll say it again. It's one of my strongest takes is I think that LeBron James ruined the sport of basketball, the NBA. I think he's absolutely destroyed it from All-Star weekend to the dunk competition to teaming up with other guys to every single aspect of the game. I feel like LeBron is really watered down. So if I'm being completely upfront with you, any step in the right direction is I'm happy with. But I will say this, what I kind of wish would happen, and I don't think the players would ever agree to this, would be very similar to what the NFL does, is game checks. If you sit out for load management, your game check is withheld, and that becomes part of your contract. If you have an 82-game contract and you play 65 of them, let's just say you're injured, you're on the injured list for 17 of them, you would only get half your game check. If you're sitting out for load management and there's no injury report, you would not receive your game check. So that's kind of where I think the NBA wants it to go, but the Players Association will never agree to that. And we all know that the NBA is a star-driven league. It's a players-run league, which is one of the things I love about it. It's just when you let things go too far left, they end up just like, whatever it may be. I think the NBA has let things go a little bit too far in the direction of the players.
So, Coach, I'm not Coach. I'm Gene. I'm going to clarify something. The reason why I didn't say Anthony Davis is because he don't miss games just because he just want to sit out. He's hurt. Kawhi Leonard, that's another story.
What about Kyrie Irving?
Hey, I agree. Put him on that list as well.
Okay, I'm just making sure. It was funny how you used just Kawhi.
Well, I mean, that's the person that came to mind right then and there. Coach Dante, what do you like this new rule change, or what was your reaction to it?
I just wish they put the like Gene said. I mean, if you decide to sit out games just because of rest or load management, they should hit your pockets. They should hit your pockets if you decide to sit out games. So, I kind of wish they kind of do that, but he said the players was not going to agree to that. But I think that's what should happen. I mean, nobody wants to pay their hard-earned money to see third and second streamers out there on the court. They want to pay to see Kawhi Leonard. They want to pay to see Joel Embiid out there on the court, Nikola Jokic, LeBron and AD. They want to pay to see those guys out there on the court. So, like Gene said, just hey, if you don't play us at least 75 games, or if you're hurt, if you're not hurt or anything, if your foot ain't broke, your back ain't messed up, you should be out there on the court playing. And if you're not out there on the court playing, you should be getting fined, or you should not be getting paid. You should not be getting paid. So I feel like that's the way it should go. That's the way it should go as well.
Mo Money, what you think?
I think it's a good first step. I'm with you. I think it's necessary. I think it's one of those first steps that they had the fan in mind when they made this first step. And I think going forward, this first step will allow them to go a little bit further the next time they're at the negotiation table. Hit them in the pockets. You should hit them in the pockets. People come to see the stars in a star-driven league, and too often we're seeing backups or secondary players. I like what they did. I'm not surprised that they went ahead and got this agreement done fast, because I think the owners, the powers that be, whether they want to hit the players in the pockets or not, they know it's a player-driven league. This is a safe negotiation. This was a safe one. Most people thought this was going to be a fight, a possible lockout. I thought this was a smart move. And I agree. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily incentivize some guys. Some guys are going to miss time. But I will say this. There are guys who have chronic injuries. I'm just talking about the kind of injuries that aren't going to go away. And by the way, one of those guys is Kawhi Leonard. I don't think Kawhi Leonard misses games because he doesn't want to compete. I don't think he's ever going to be right again physically. And I think the Clippers know that. You're looking at a guy at best is going to play 60 games for you. But I don't think that's because he doesn't want to compete. They're trying to extend his career because they know he's not right and won't ever be right again. But again, I in the bigger picture, great first step for the league.
I appreciate that comment, Mo. Can I ask you guys a quick question? I kind of want to add on to this. Sportskeeda came out with a list of top salaries per sport, average per player. I just want to go over this real quick because I want you guys to kind of understand where I think the NBA has a stranglehold on all of professional sports. And it's because they have such a small roster size. Like 12-man roster is so small that money gets divvied so much more. So the NFL being the highest revenue sport in the United States of America, the average salary for an NFL player is $3.26 million. Now, that's your highs, that's your lows. NHL, obviously, we know that's not a huge money draw. You can tell that. $2.69 million per player. Major League Baseball, a lot of people talk about these huge contracts. Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani is about to get a huge one. $4.03 million per athlete. Anybody want to take a guess on what the NBA is per player? You're on mute, Freddie.
It's probably in the fives.
Fives? Okay. Coach, what you think?
I would say about the same.
Mo better?
I want to say at least 10 million.
Your closest is $8.32 million per player. This includes 2-way contracts, 10-day contracts. The NBA is making double than any one of the other major organizations in the United States. So they have a stranglehold on their pay. It's about time that the NBA has actually fights back towards getting bang for their buck, because there's nothing worse than a family paying to go see Steph Curry because he comes to Philadelphia once a year, or paying to go see LeBron James or Giannis or Kawhi Leonard, and they sit out that game due to load management. They don't give you a refund on your ticket. They don't give you a lesser draw. You paid premium dollar because the Los Angeles Lakers were coming to Philadelphia. So I just think that that's an issue that needs to be addressed.
What's up, Tay-Rock?
What's going on? How everybody been? I know nobody seen my face for a while, but just been working, chilling out. I still be watching everybody thing, so I'm back around now. How everybody doing this morning? I'm at work, just chilling though.
Good.
Nice shirt, Freddie. Kind of matching my hat. We both oranges today. What's up, Coach?
What up, Tay? What's up?
How y'all feeling down there? What's going on?
What's good?
I'm out here enjoying this Philly weather rain right now, because Embiid and them about to come take over the Celtics.
Hey, Tay, what is your reaction to the NBA, changing? We're talking about how a lot of players like to take load management. Now they're making sure, what's the game, 65, somewhere around in there? The exact number. But they're making it where you have an exact number to play. If you don't play those numbers, you don't qualify for MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, or any of that. What is your reaction to that?
I kind of like it because that gets the star players make them have to play, just like Gene was saying. That you have to, if people paying top premium dollar, they want to see them stars playing. They're not coming for the role players. They're coming for those stars. So I kind of agree with Gene when you're paying premium top dollar. I feel like you have to, for you to have to get those awards, I feel like you have to play majority of the season. You have to at least play 70% of the season for you to even be qualified for that type of situation. Because if you play 8 out of 82 games, you play 40. I don't care if you are the best player in the world. I'm not considering you to be MVP if you only play 40 games out of a season. That you only play half of a season. Because you could be the MVP of the first half, and then you could get second half of your season could stink. So I'm not giving somebody an award for half a season. So if you have to play at least majority, okay, I'll even give you 60. If you play at least 60 out of 82, I'll still give you a credit because you played majority of the games. But if you're only playing 30 to 40 games at a time, and then you sitting out and keep sitting out, that's a problem. Because, okay, injuries happen, But if you're just sitting down because of old management, you're tired. The people back in the day, they was playing with Kobe didn't play injured, Jordan played sick, other players didn't play injured. So my thing is, if you're a little tired, you got a little sprain on your pinky, why are you sitting out? Why are you sitting out? You got a little sprain on your pinky, or now if you're really injured, I understand that. But if you're not really that injured, hey, listen, people don't even get paid for professional sports play with injuries. So these people actually get paid, and y'all sitting out 5-6 games for what? If you're not really injured, I feel like if you're not injured, if you're not severely injured and you can play, I feel like you should be on the court. And that's just my opinion.
Anthony Price bring up a great statement. He said, I know taking game checks for resting, but playing every game is a little hard for your body. Your body will break down. Because I will piggyback off you say, Rock. I understand back in the day, but the game is much faster now. Things are much faster than it was back in the day.
Cut you up. It's faster and it's less physical though. That's the difference. It's less physical. It's faster, but it's less physical. That's why the game was slower and more physical. That's why more players was a little bit more durable back then, because they didn't have to run as much. This is a running gun, fast paced game now. Because everybody is like it's like the whole NBA became like iso ball. So now I'm saying, even though it's team ball, a lot of people. It's a little different, but yeah, I kind of agree with you with that one.
But the question that I had, my next question to bring up with that is, do you think it's time that the NBA should shorten the season from an 82-game season? Maybe, or Gene's shaking his head. You disagree with that, Gene?
100% I disagree with it. 82 games, baseball's 162. Basketball's 82, hockey's right around 82. I think it's laughable to shorten the least physical sport. Shorten the season. No, I want to see stars play. 82 games in a calendar year, not even a calendar year, in 8 months out of a calendar year is not much. I disagree. I think that's not so like, just to counter your point, and I'm not trying to get into the Michael LeBron debate, but out of 15 seasons, how many seasons do you think Michael Jordan played 80 or more games in an 82-game season?
He did it almost 10 times. He did it just about
9 times.
11 times. He played 80 or more games. 9 times he played the full 82.
Right.
And you're talking about a guy that got beat up in the lane. You remember Jordan Rules? Who remembers Jordan Rules? He was abused in the lane. So if that man is athletic, Kobe Bryant's another perfect example. One of the unsung heroes of our basketball generation, a guy that would ice, that would train harder than anyone, that would play harder than anyone. And he said, I feel like I have a responsibility to these fans that pay good money to see me play. If I'm playing in Toronto and as hurt as he is, he had calf injuries, icing himself down just to play in Toronto, to give the fans that only get to see him once a year an opportunity to see him. I think we need to stop making excuses for players.
My phone acting weird. All right, to piggyback off of that, because Jordan and Iverson said the same thing. He said, when I go play in a different stadium, there's always a kid that always going to see me play for the first time. So they go. He said, because that flu game, I know a lot of kids probably saw Jordan play for the first time. Each game, when the stars play, somebody's seeing them for the first time. You're gonna, because people just don't like teams from if they never seen nobody before. But if you seeing that star player for the first time, you're gonna put everything in your all to go see that player. You can watch the NBA on TV, but when you seeing that player live, it's a different situation when you're seeing that player. Listen, the first time the Spurs came to the city and I seen Tim Duncan live, I was ecstatic. I was like, "What?" That and he was kind of injured, but he still played. So I was kind of hyped. And even though I knew he was hurt, he still played. So I was happy for that. Most kids these days don't really see the players that they want to see because I don't know. Can't tell. I don't know. But I feel like this. If you're a star player and you know them kids coming to see y'all, if y'all not messed up eventually, just play. And I feel like the shorter the season, I say if they are going to do it, just take it down 10 games. Don't take it to no 60. If you're going to take 82 games, just take it to 72. That's if they do it. I don't think it should be no more than 10 games if they do it. if they do it. I don't believe they should, but I think if they do it, they should at least take it down at least 10 or shorten the playoffs to back to 5. You either going to do that or shorten the playoffs back to 5, and it's not 7 games. So they got a situation they got to deal with right there.
Anthony, I have a question for you, Gene. He said, Gene, would you like it if a player wanted to rest, make it known a week or two ahead of you resting so you won't waste your money?
No, I think that's just another. You don't when you buy your tickets for the game. Most people buy them a month in advance, 2 weeks in advance. They buy them when the tickets are released. So even giving us a week or two, that would be better than what it is now, because it gives you opportunity to still sell those tickets, but you're not going to get the same amount of money that you paid for them, knowing that LeBron James is not playing in Philadelphia. And I use LeBron because he's the most polarizing athlete that everyone wants to see once in their career live. It could be anybody. It could be, Nikola Jokic. It could be Luka Doncic. But the point being is, I think that helps a shade. Whereas in my personal opinion, I think that if you can play, you should play. And I think the numbers state that, Freddie. If you're getting paid double of what any professional athlete's getting paid, baseball players get paid half of what basketball players do and play double the games.
No, I agree. Was there any other rule change that you guys liked or want to mention or kind of bring light to the viewers?
I still have to study it a little bit more. I think the one thing I found very interesting was, I guess, the Dante DiVincenzo John Wall rule, like essentially where a player can't be a buyout, and then their contract would have to be picked up by the team that picks them up. Like Dante DiVincenzo or John Wall's contract would have to be picked up fully by the team that picks them up. I think that's a great addition to the rule, where that allows less stars to get traded, like a Russell Westbrook situation this year, where he gets traded and the Clippers don't have to pick up his $44 million contract because it's in a situation of a buyout. That allows less super teams and less ridiculous signings near the end of the year.
What was your thought? What was you guys' thoughts on the in season tournament? I mean, we've seen the NBA try to make changes, especially with the play-in. I don't think I'll meet you, Michael.
I don't like it. I don't like it in game because you already playing a lot of games already, plus the extra games. If you make it to the playoffs or make it over to the finals, you just about playing 100 or something games. So I don't feel like you should have. Okay, then the play-in tournament to get into the playoffs, I think that's enough for right now. But having a mid-season in-game tournament and still got to finish out the season and the good team making the playoffs, that you're putting extra games already. They already doing load management, so you're already putting extra games. So that means the stars going to split out even more, because then you got a tournament. Okay, what you put an in-season tournament? What's going to be the outcome of the in-season tournament? Because it's not going into the playoffs. It's not winning the championship. You just winning the tournament in the middle of the season. I don't feel like that's the case. You might as well have a summer league, an NBA summer league with all the stars for all that. Because you putting a tournament in the middle of the season, and you already got an in-game kind of season with the player playing to get into the playoffs. I don't feel like you should have no other thing but to get that in-game tournament for the playoffs. I don't think you should have nothing else but that, because in the middle of the season, to me, it's just pointless. Because who's going to what teams you're going to put in there? That's the question. In the middle of the season, who you going to put in the tournament? That's the thing they're going to think about.
It's everyone. It's all 32 teams. Every team gets to play in that tournament. It's basically a single loss elimination tournament. They detract the games. So if you lose in the first round, you would actually play less than 82 games. If you make it all the way to the finals, you play a total of 83 games. So anything that preaches more competitive basketball, I'm never going to be against. I think it's more, you're at least giving players $500,000. There's a lot of players on that bench that would play hard for that $500,000. That's essentially what they're doing. They're giving $500,000 per player on the winning team. However, I think it's very cookie cutter. I would much rather see that tournament take place in the off season than it would in the middle of the season. But with that being said, if you're going to promise me I'm going to get at least 15, 16 more competitive basketball games that I get to watch where teams want to win and they're not load managing, resting people, then I'm going to be for it. I'm not going to be against it.
No, I definitely agree. The one rule that I kind of, one of the things changes that I kind of like was the two-way contracts. We've seen
Oh, that was a good one.
you have teams be pretty big on two-way players, and there's still a lot of these young players that did not get opportunity to get drafted or did not get drafted high enough that they're not getting NBA time. But now allowing the teams another two-way contract on their roster, I think will be very big. Especially with helping with their development. And hey, we've seen some two-way stories in the NBA be tremendous, help teams win championships. I know he wasn't one last year, but Gary Payton, the second, he started that way. Look at him last year in the NBA finals. So I definitely love that change. Coach Maurice, did you guys want to add anything to this or speak on something that's talked about already? Or
I like the idea of the tournament, and I think that the NBA, what they're trying to do, they're trying to drive up the casual fan, and at the same time appease the hardcore fans. My thing with the tournament is I want to know what the ramifications are for the playoffs. What is the impact? If you win the tournament, does it give you some kind of advantage heading into the playoffs?
So what it is real quick. It's they know it counts against their win-loss record. So it's part of their win-loss record. So that's their ramifications for the playoffs. But no, it doesn't give them any advantage. It just pays the winning team $500,000 per player.
So, question. So, if you say you're the number one seed, right, going into this tournament, but you got the best record in the NBA, and you lose, does that affect your playoffs situation? If you lose in that,
you would have one loss on your record.
So you could lose in the tournament, but still win the NBA Finals.
Correct. This is a mid-season tournament.
So the tournament is just for entertainment, then, more or less.
Correct. Yeah, it has to be just for that. Okay. Yeah, that would have to be because
it's not 100% for entertainment because the wins and losses do matter towards your total record.
Right.
But the most you could lose in a tournament is one game.
So say if a team at the bottom of the league wins the tournament, that don't help them get into the playoffs.
I mean,
if they still got enough wins,
it would give them 4 more wins.
So they win the tournament and still don't have enough wins to get into the playoffs. They just won a tournament. It doesn't matter.
They got $500,000 per player.
So basically, you're just getting money out the deal.
Correct.
I wouldn't turn down 500, so I'm not going to be mad. I wouldn't turn that down. So I kind of understand that. So especially if I'm on the bench and I ain't getting that big contract, yeah, I'll take that money. So not really, but I'd rather see that on the off season though.
All right, let's keep it moving. Daniel, thank you for tuning into the chat. We definitely see you, my brother. Definitely see you. Thank everybody for watching the show. We appreciate everybody. Yesterday, Kendrick Perkins said some interesting takes, as he always do. No telling what's coming out that man's mouth. Let's just be honest. He made a comment. He said Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the world. He added a conjunction, but it's not by far. You have multiple guys that are sitting at the same dinner table or ordering the same entrees as Giannis and Jason Tatum is one of them. Do you agree that Tatum is do you agree that he's at the table with Giannis, or do you disagree? Whoever want to go first, go first.
I'll get this in mind is short. I could say talent-wise, but until Tatum get a championship, they won't be at the same table. Now, talent-wise, yeah, I give them neck and neck because Jason Tatum been balling lately. But until he wins that championship, he's not going to be able to sit. I could say he probably can sit at the same table, but he ain't gonna be able to sit at the other head of the table with Giannis until he wins a championship. That's the only thing Giannis has over him, because Jason Tatum can play all around, can pass, he can shoot, the rebound. But until he wins that championship, that's the only thing I give Giannis over Tatum right now, for real, because you have to have that championship to sit at a certain table with certain great players. Until he gets that, That's the only thing that's holding him back from sitting at the head of the table with Giannis. That's the only thing. Other than that, because if they both ain't had no championships, I would say they neck and neck. If they didn't have a championship, because Giannis had final MVP. So,
and that's where you're wrong, Jay. Hold on, I'm gonna mute your mic real quick. That's where you're wrong because take away the championship. Giannis still have a defensive player of the year. He still have the MVPs. I mean, it's more than just the finals. And we've seen, yes, you said as a recent, Giannis has been dominant for the last couple of years. That's why we us going into the season, we know what Giannis is going to give us. No disrespect to Jason Tatum, but because I think Tatum's a fantastic player. But let's not forget, Giannis do it on both sides too, bro. He's an elite player on offense, and he's an elite player on defense. So he's not just a one-sided player. Tatum has got it better on defense, but he's not on the same level as Giannis.
that's just like saying Iguodala better than Curry because Iguodala got a Finals MVP, and the only thing he did was guard LeBron. LeBron still cooked him. That's how Iguodala get a Finals MVP. That's basically saying that Iguodala better than Curry, and we all know that's not true.
Well, like I said, bro, he got more than just a championship. Outside of the championship, Giannis have more accolades in the NBA.
Hey, you got to mute your mic, bro. The feedback is so loud. Sorry.
He has more accolades in the NBA so far than Jason Tatum. It's not no knock on Jason Tatum because we've seen him as a young pup come into the NBA and make some noise. We've seen him go to the Eastern Conference Finals when Kyrie Irving got hurt. We've seen them make strides along the way. There's no knock on him, but he's not on the Giannis level as of yet. To me, there's only a few players. There's only a few players in the superstar table.
I'm waiting on this one. I got a long rant. So,
and who are they? Who are the people?
We will get into that, later on in the debate. But yeah, Gene, what are you saying?
I'm waiting. I want to hear what Coach and Mo have to say because I have a little bit of a rant on this one.
All right, Maurice, we'll let you to knock this one out.
For me, it's simple. Giannis is the best player in the league, in my opinion. There are more skilled players, more polished players, but his impact, what he does, he's a whole nother kind of beast. Jason Tatum is as talented as anybody. He's got a bag on offense, and he's actually a very good defender defensively. I just don't think he's there yet. I mean, championships matter, but when you're looking at the overall resume, we're talking about the best of the best. The fact that Giannis is already a two-time MVP and a Finals MVP, he's won Defensive Player of the Year. These are all things that Tatum hasn't achieved yet. These are all things that a lot of stars haven't achieved yet. I'm a Tatum fan, but I don't think he might be at the table, but he's not on Giannis's level yet, in my opinion. And I have nothing but respect for him because I think he's an incredible talent.
All right, Coach.
Like I say, I think Giannis is the best player, probably the top player in the league. His impact on winning and then winning the finals is just phenomenal. The way he impacts the game on defense, he becoming a better passer, and the way he gets to half court so fast, and then he has so much of a long step to get to the basket, long stride to get to the basket. I mean, again, I think Jason Tatum is at the table with him, but I just don't think he's there yet. I don't value rings. I don't value rings and stuff like that to determine are you the better player. I don't value rings, but like I say, you gotta give credit to Giannis' organization, how well they put pieces around him to make him successful and to make him basically a better passer, a better playmaker, and stuff like that. So you got to give credit to that organization too, as well. But Giannis is no doubt probably the best player in the league right now. He's been doing it consistently over and over and over. And you can make game plans on him to try to stop him from getting to the rim. It just doesn't work. I mean, he gets to the rim when he wants to. And he's, like I say, he's becoming a better passer, reading the defense better because of those shooters out there. And he's been more of a willing passer as well now. So his assists went up, his playmaking went up as well. And he's just phenomenal on both ends of the floor.
Before you go, Rook, I can ask this question: if Giannis and Tatum was the same height, do we still have this conversation? And saying if Giannis ain't had those accolades and they was the same height, this talent level, are they neck and neck? If they the same height without none of the accolades, are they neck and neck?
If AI was 6'11", he would be the greatest player of the game.
Yeah, Kobe said that.
Say that again, Gene. Say that again, Gene.
If AI was 6'11", he'd be the
Exactly.
greatest player ever to play the game. What are we talking about?
Right.
I just wanted to know because a lot of people get credit because of their height and what they could do around the basket. That's all I was asking.
So there's plenty of tall people in the NBA that can't do what Giannis does. I got a little bit of a rant on this, but I need a little group participation. Mo, Coach, whoever, Freddie, Tay-Rock, whoever. But I'm going to ask you a question. Is this not Jason Tatum's best season as a pro right now?
Most definitely.
It is.
Not close, right?
I think last year coming into this year, yeah.
Would you say this is like an average season for Giannis? Like his statistical numbers aren't up or down from what he's done the last 5 years. It's pretty average.
Yep.
In fact, last year's numbers were better than they are this year.
Mm-hmm.
So Giannis has more points, more rebounds, more assists, a higher defensive efficiency rating. He has more blocks per game, more steals per game, a higher player usage rate. And his team has more wins. And if you remove both superstars from their teams, who's the better team? Oh, that's the Boston Celtics.
By far.
So this is not a question. Giannis is at the head of the table, and Jason Tatum is at the, hey, the kids sit over there. They sit on the end. They get an order from the kids' menu. That's the end of the table Jason Tatum's at. I don't have a problem with Kendrick saying that Giannis is the best player in the world, but there's other people at the table. There is. Jason Tatum isn't the example that I would use as other people that are at the table. I think that Giannis Antetokounmpo does everything in the sport of basketball better than Jason Tatum outside shoot the three. And Jason Tatum shooting a pedestrian 35% from three-point this year, which does not mean he's an elite three-point shooter. Yes, it's better than Giannis's 28%. I follow that, but there's nothing on a basketball court outside shoot the three that Jason Tatum does better than Giannis. It's a laughable statement. It's a laughable argument. I don't think it's even close. And I don't have Jason Tatum in my top 5 players in the NBA. So how big is this table? You want to make an argument for Kevin Durant at his team? I'll listen. You want to make an argument for Luka Doncic at his team? I'll listen.
What about Embiid? Embiid against Giannis?
That's my point. I'll listen to those arguments. But I will not listen to an argument where you're arguing that Jason Tatum is in the same stratosphere as Giannis, because he's not.
You know what, Gene? That brings me to my next point that I wanted to bring. Who is at the table? Who's that? Like I said, I don't believe the superstar table is that big. As of right now, I believe you have superstars, you have all-stars, and you have stars. And I have Kevin Durant at the table. Because we know Kevin Durant is a guy that can score on you at any level of basketball. It don't matter where at. I have Steph Curry at the table because we know who Steph Curry is, and I have Giannis at that table. And I would even put Embiid and Nikola Jokic on that table. But other than that, who else is at the table?
Did you mention Luka?
My thing, he said Luka.
See, right now, Luka is where Jason Tatum is. That's just my opinion, brother. And
I get it. And I'm shaking my head thinking I disagree with you.
And the reason why I say that is because, and let's get into the conversation. Luka is, a lot of people want to put Kyrie at the problem while Dallas is not being successful. A lot have to fall on Luka as well.
Oh my God. This is such a worn and terrible argument that you've been making for weeks. Dallas was the 5 seed without Kyrie Irving.
Can I explain why though?
5.
But can I explain why though?
And almost made it to the finals.
But Gene, let me explain why. The same offense Dallas is trying to run before Kyrie was there is the same offense that LeBron ran. Same offense that James Harden ran. It didn't work with James Harden. Let him dribble the ball. Oh, can't get a shot, then pass. Why do you think Jalen Brunson left? He didn't even want to give them a meeting, bro. His style of basketball did not work. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Now, you see, now that they bring Kyrie Irving, they're trying to change the offense. There's a reason why Luka came out and said, I'm not having fun anymore because the ball is not so ball dominant in his hands anymore. That's why he's not having fun. That's what I'm saying. Like, Luka's an outstanding, amazing player. I love Luka Doncic. I really do. But his style of basketball do not work.
If it smells like a rat, looks like a rat, by golly, it's a rat. Kyrie Irving has went to 4 different situations and made those situations worse. Stop lying to yourself and telling you that, listen, people don't want to play with someone that doesn't love the game of basketball. There's a reason James Harden forced his way out of Brooklyn, and the reason was Kyrie Irving. There's a reason the Boston Celtics were better when Kyrie got hurt. There's a reason that the Brooklyn Nets were worse when Kyrie was on the court than when he wasn't on the court. There's a reason that the Dallas Mavericks went from the 5th seed to the 11th seed when Kyrie got traded there. I'm not blaming Kyrie for the Mavericks being an inefficient franchise. But what I am saying is that the Mavericks are worse by taking a player that doesn't play defense and doesn't love the game of basketball. Ben Simmons doesn't love the game of basketball. Kyrie Irving doesn't love the game of basketball. They are 2 of the same, except one is a way more efficient scorer.
Coach, can I ask you a question? When James Harden was in Houston, did his style of basketball lead to championships?
No, I mean, it's hard to lead. It led to winning, but it didn't lead to a championship, though. So,
Gene, all I'm saying is, bro, look at how the Mavericks play. For one, they have no defense. They got rid of their best perimeter defender in the trade. They have no big man. I mean, they have Christian Wood as a big man who plays no defense. Like, he comes out looking for the 3-point shot. I mean, he plays zero defense, brother. They can get me and you out there in the post, and we can guard the post a lot better than he can. Let's just be honest. But yeah, and they have JaVale McGee, but just because he don't work with Luka because he clogs up the paint, they don't even give him play. He answered their problems. He fixed their problems, but they won't let him play. They bring in JaVale McGee, he'll be an instant impact. He's a guy that can protect the paint. He can guard the opposing team's big man. But Luka has to have the ball in his hands, and he has not yet shown that he's willing to get the ball out of his hand. And he's holding them back more than Kyrie Irving is at this point. It's funny that they have a higher, since the trade, you go look at the numbers, they have more wins with Kyrie just on the court than they do with Luka. Just saying.
And another thing, back to this superstar table, I'm kind of iffy with Durant. Because I guarantee
you're iffy with Kevin Durant.
Durant is going to leave Phoenix. He's not going. Before Durant's career is over, he's going to play for at least 6 or 7 teams. I'm trying to tell you this now. Durant does not fit nowhere. He fits on different teams with different lineups. I can't see the longest tenure he had was OKC. That was the best tenure he had in his whole career. Besides, because he went to the Warriors, played with a stacked team already. Then you went to Brooklyn with a stacked team that was sort of kind of stacked team, but that didn't work. Now you on Phoenix with another good team. Only team you really won a championship was with Steph Curry. Anybody else you didn't win with. So my thing is, you're a super. You got championships off of a team that was already set up to win.
Tay.
I mean,
mute your mic real quick. Go ahead, Mo.
That's true, but he went to Golden State because Golden State came to him. They came to him. They needed him. They're the ones that blew a 3-1 lead. They're the ones that didn't score in the last 4 minutes of a game 7 at home. They came to him. And he went to the team and was the best player in the team. He wasn't a sidekick. He was their best player. And he's the one player in the NBA that can fit in any roster. He can flow with any roster. He's not ball dominant. He's not one of those guys that have to take 25, 28 shots a game. He's the most efficient scorer I've ever seen. You can say he might move on from Phoenix. I doubt it. My gut feeling is he plans to retire in Phoenix, but it may not pan out. But I don't think that he went to Phoenix because he didn't believe he could win a title there. I think he's got a shot to win it there. If I was going to nitpick on Phoenix, they don't play much defense and they don't have much depth. That's an obvious flaw when you look at them. As far as Durant, though, You don't think he's a superstar?
No. I didn't. No, he is a superstar. I'm not saying he's not. What I'm saying is, majority of the other superstars didn't travel through 4 or 5 teams that got championships. That's what I'm saying. But that same Thunder team lost to Golden State too, and then that same loss. They lost to them, even though LeBron and them beat Curry and them. The same thing happened to Durant, and when he had Westbrook and Harden and them back then, even though they was young. But I feel like, don't get me wrong, I like Kevin Durant. I believe he is a superstar. He's one of the best. I give him top 3 in the league right now. I give him that. But my thing is, stick with this. He's like Kyrie. Stick with a team. Just stick with a team. Like, just stick with somebody, and I want to see you do something without having to be already on a stacked team. Go to a team that you got some great players, one of probably of a star, and do something. You always would have. You played on a team that always had at least 2 players that could back you up if you struggle. Every team you just about been on.
To be fair, isn't this the stacked team era? To be fair, I'm just saying. There's a lot of stacked teams, and there's other stars have got a stacked team. If you're excluding Steph with the Warriors, who other than Giannis, everybody else has had a stacked team. So I don't think what Durant's done is unique. LeBron, he doesn't function without a stacked team. I'm just saying. So
thank you. Somebody finally said that for me. Thank you. Somebody finally said that.
He's a great player, but I'm just being real.
Thank you.
All right, so hold on. Let me give you a couple rebuttals to what was said. Tay, I don't know if you watched a lot of Golden State basketball during the Kevin Durant era, but I hate Kevin Durant, right? I don't like Kevin Durant at all. He's my least favorite NBA superstar. But you're making me stick up for him, because if you watched him play for Golden State, that was his team. You could say it was Steph's team all you want. And all these BS analysts that said, well, he never drove the bus and this and that. Y'all didn't watch Golden State play during that era. KD was the most dominant player on the court. Everyone wilted to KD on that team. And KD was the one that made the big shots down the stretch versus Cleveland, including that dagger 3, the walk-up dagger 3 that ended the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm not a KD guy. I'm not. I've never been. But the KD hate is so it's blasphemous, man. He's not LeBron James. He'll never be LeBron James. Right. Stop putting him in that category. But with that being said, he's the most talented player in the NBA that's not named Giannis. It's not close to me. The guy can pull up from anywhere. His range is ridiculous. He can get to the hole. He plays defense. And then, Mo, I want to address your statement about Phoenix. I think that what people do when they see a really good basketball team that was built at the trade deadline is they say defense, and they say they don't have enough people on the team. They don't have enough depth. I don't think that could be further from the truth. Chris Paul is a plus defender. DeAndre Ayton's a plus defender. Kevin Durant is a plus defender. Torrey Craig is a plus defender. Cameron Payne's a plus defender. Terrence Ross is a plus defender. And that's not mentioning Booker and Okogie, who's a plus defender, on their team. They don't have issues with depth. They don't have issues with defense. They have issues.
I disagree.
They have issues with health.
I disagree, but I hear you.
I'll put it to you this way, right? If you can guarantee me Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker don't miss a playoff game, the Suns won't see a game 7, let alone not win the NBA Finals.
I disagree. But I hear you, but I disagree. I don't see the depth that you see. And look, Chris Paul was a great defender. He can't really guard anybody right now. People go around him at will, and they've been doing that for. And that's not me listening to the media. That's me watching Chris Paul play. He's not nobody that stops anybody anymore. And you're right. Health is an issue, but you can use health for a prelim for the Lakers, for the Clippers, for just about anybody. If the Clippers are 100% healthy and they match up, say, against Phoenix, I'd like to see that series, because I don't think that series could go either way. And I would say that the Clippers actually have more depth than Phoenix does.
Most definitely.
So while you're seeing all these plus defenders, yes, defense matters, but you got to get buckets too. And at some point, Durant's sitting. Booker's got to get a break. That Suns bench, I don't see a lot of offense coming off that bench. So the plan must be to stagger Booker and KD's minutes to have one of them on the floor all times, because without them on the floor, there's no buckets being scored. You're not if unless you plan on going to Ayton, and nobody really believes in Ayton.
You know, good point, Jeff.
The only reason why
Tell you your audio is horrible, bro.
I know I'm in the bad section at my job. I'm going to say this real quick, and I'm going to mute my mic. If you really check Steph Curry numbers in them years, Steph Curry played good in those finals and them playoffs too. He stepped back. That's the same thing D Wade did when LeBron went to Miami. He stepped back so that person could get their rings, because D Wade already had one. Curry already had his rings. He stepped back and let KD do that. Steph ain't have to, but he did it. That's the type of player Steph is. Steph put up numbers in that final.
He said it perfectly. Steph Curry is Dwayne Wade, and Kevin Durant was LeBron James. You made my
MVPs.
You've made my point for me. Thank you.
All right, we've kind of stayed on this topic a little bit longer than wanted to, but everybody made great points. But Tay, that was very blasphemous for you to say Kevin Durant don't fit on every team. Kevin Durant, if he goes to any team in the NBA, he will fit on any team. He has that bag, sir. There's only a few players in the NBA you can say that about. Just saying.
What I meant was, other than that OKC team that he showed loyalty to, after he wins, he's like a certain players in the league. Now, if you win, most teams don't stay together. In a lot of different sports. I've never seen him stay on a team other than years, longer than 2 to 3 years. I've never seen it. Since he been playing. He played him what?
Hold on, Tay. I'm gonna correct you on something real quick. How long did he stay in Golden State? He was in Golden State for like at least 3 to 4 years. He can't help that Kyrie Irving was a goofball in Brooklyn. He can't help that Kyrie Irving was not dedicated to winning championship like he was. He can't help that. So I'm not going to hold that against Kevin Durant. I'm just not going to do that. But like I said, we'll debate that on another day, because that debate can really go for hours. It really can. But let's move to the next topic. One of the rule changes that the NBA has made is that now they have lowered the age number for eligibility to come to the draft. So I believe it was 19. Do you guys love the rule change, hate it, or kind of iffy? Coach Dante, we'll start with you on that one.
19 is pretty reasonable. I like it when they changed it to 19. I mean, LeBron came in as an 18-year-old. I wouldn't be so opposing if it was started at 18, but 19 pretty reasonable. I'm okay with it. I'm not mad at it.
All right, Mo.
I'm fine with it. I think that raising it to 19, it may actually help young players from themselves. Some guys come out early and they're just not ready. And sometimes they get stunted to the point where they end up being like G League career players. So I actually think it's a good step. It's a good first step.
All right, Gene.
I think that for every LeBron James, there's 15 guys that come in the league way too early that are not ready to come in the league too early. I think that the minimum age to come in the NBA should be 20 or 21. I don't care how weird that sounds. There's a reason that pro football players have to play after 2 years removed from high school to be able to play in the NFL. It's the same thing in the NBA. Yes, there's going to be your LeBron James, your Kobe Bryants, but these are absolute anomalies. These aren't the majority. A lot of these kids are coming in or around adult life at too young of an age, and I don't think it's best for the players. There's so many players that have forced their way to the league. I love the developmental leagues. I don't think there should be an age restriction in developmental leagues. the G leagues and things of that nature. But I don't feel like you should have to force a kid to go to college. If he wants to earn a living, he can play in a developmental league until 20 years old. But I'm of the exact opposite. I think the age limit should be higher.
I agree too, because I remember when Kobe was, even though he came at a young age, there was players that kind of looked at him differently. They didn't look at him as, another kid that's, 20, 21, because, they was going out clubbing, but guess what? They have a kid along too. They had somebody who couldn't drink, who couldn't do what they could do, because they wasn't on the same level. So I agree. I like the 2021 age factor as well, just because it's a team calamity type deal where those guys are going to look at him differently, versus, if they was around the same age. Good morning, Big Time. What's going on, Big Time? How are you doing this morning? But yeah, I definitely agree. And shout out to everybody in the chat. The ones that view this, the ones that's going to view us later on in the day. Shout out to you guys as well. But yeah, hey, it seemed like I agree with Gene. I think the age limit should be about 2021. Just because there's going to be some teammates that's not going to really vibe with you, or really not going to feel, be able to fit in with you, because you are 2 different points in your career. But let's keep it moving. Stay with the NBA for a little bit. Home court advantage. Will home court advantage in the NBA this year's playoffs, will it really matter? Like, will that be a key factor for these playoffs? Gene, I see a big smile on your face.
I know why this is a topic, though, Freddie. I know why this is a topic.
Why is it?
This is a topic for you to get into the bag of how your 7 seed Lakers make a run. That's why it's a topic. It's not a topic. When is there ever a conversation of, well, home court advantage matters? Unless Freddie's favorite team doesn't have home court advantage. If Freddie's team was the 1 seed, it would be how dominant is home court advantage. It's so predictable. Yes, home court advantage matters.
I didn't create
shooting in your home gym. Shooting in your home gym. Teams shoot. This is actually a wild statistic. Teams shoot 3.7% better in their home gym than they do on the road. That's an average in the NBA. There are teams like the Golden State Warriors that shoot 9% better at home than they do on the road. This is a wild. Yes, home court advantage matters. Yes.
Hey, I didn't create this topic. Key and Mo created this topic, sir. Don't come after me, my brother. All right, Coach Dante.
Well, let's see. Unless you are the Denver Nuggets, unless you are Giannis, the Boston Celtics are a team that can win anywhere, no matter what it is, then I will see. It depends. I will see home court doesn't matter not to those type of teams, but home court, yes, it does matter. Playing in front of the crowd and stuff like that, and building momentum when you want to run and have to play in front of that loud crowd. Yes, I believe home court advantage matters, unless you are one of those top teams that can win through any adversity. Yes, I believe home court. Other than that, I believe home court kind of matters when you're playing on your floor. You know your gym, you know how to shoot on your own basket. So yes, I believe it matters. Home court does matter.
And Gene, I'm gonna give you some clarification, my brother. I didn't create this topic, but it don't matter to the Lakers, because
hey Gene, it was a setup.
Laker fans travel. So hey, Laker fans travel. Just saying. But Mo,
not versus playoff teams, they don't. They travel in regular season games. Versus playoff teams, they won't get tickets, because those playoff teams that are ahead of them in the West have great crowds. The only crowd that you can walk into and take over is Sacramento. That's it. There's no other team in the West that you're not going to walk into Phoenix and overtake their stadium. They showed you that a few years ago. They showed you that a few years ago when they smacked y'all out of the playoffs. You're not going to go into Golden State. They smashed you without Chris Paul the whole series. You can't go into Golden State and take over there. You can't go into Denver in that arena and take over there. The Clippers and the Kings are the 2 stadiums, and the Clippers is because it's your own damn stadium, are the 2 stadiums that you guys can go into and have not it be a disadvantage. That's it.
I disagree with you on that, but Mo, since this was your topic, I'm gonna let you go at it. So hopefully, Gene will come at you now.
Because it's my topic.
Mo's a Lakers fan, right?
Yeah, no
A
doubt.
point proven.
No, that's not why I came up with it.
I'm messing with you, Mo. I'm messing with you.
No, I brought up the topic more about the top teams, the title contenders, not the playoff contenders. So I'm talking about if and when Milwaukee matches up with Boston. If Milwaukee goes ahead and has home court advantage throughout the playoffs and they match up with Boston, I don't think that's a lock that they win that series because
No.
I actually think Boston's the better team. I think Boston's the deeper team. Boston has something Milwaukee doesn't have. As great as Giannis is, and by the way, Drew Holiday, my favorite player in the NBA. As great as Milwaukee is, Boston has 4 different guys that can break you down off the dribble, create for themselves, score, and create for others. And they all play defense. The Bucks don't have that. The Bucks have 3 guys, and Giannis is really a big that can create offense for other people. Everybody else is dependent on Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. And I just think that in a 7-game series, with the kind of depth that Boston has, and remember, you can take Brogdon and White, they're almost like a starting backcourt for what they do production-wise. Giannis would have to be as great as he's always been, but they would also need to have Middleton at, let's say, 90% of what he usually is to make it that kind of a series. And I know they'll say, well, they didn't have Middleton and it went 7. Every season plays out in a different way. You can't hold on to that. I'd like to see Giannis win a title to cement his legacy. It'd be great to win 2 titles in Milwaukee. The one is amazing, but to win 2, it'd be insane. I just think that series is a toss-up, and I don't think home court decides that series.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the contending teams as far as home court that they can go anywhere and win. That
I don't think home
court go anywhere and win. That's when I don't think home court advantage matters to Boston, Milwaukee, pop to Denver, Phoenix. If they are healthy, I don't think home court will matter to those type of teams right there. But to your point, you're not going to slow down Giannis, but Celtics got so many different bodies they can really actually put on them. Got Robert Williams. Grant Williams, who's hard to move on the low block. He's really hard to move. He's big and he's strong. And you mentioned Malcolm Brogdon is in a 6-man a year in competition, a 6-man a year or more. So you're not going to slow down. You're not going to stop Giannis from doing what he do. But you got so many different bodies and so many different guys that you can really throw at them. And they just so well-rounded on defense, man. They play probably the best team basketball I can see in I probably haven't seen before. The way they did Kevin Durant, how they played so much of that team defense. I just like what they do defensively as a unit together.
I like what they do on both ends of the floor. I think that their defense is impressive, but when you got guys like Tatum and Brown, what they can do on the perimeter offensively, that's tough. No, you can't stop Giannis. Look, on a bad game, Giannis can drop 30. His field goal percentage might be not as efficient, but on a bad game, he can give you 30 and 15. I've seen the Celtics slow him down. Nobody's going to stop him. We could go back to the earlier conversation. He's that dude. But when Boston plays Milwaukee, I don't think they try to stop him. I think they focus in on Drew Holiday. I think they try to attack Drew because they know how important Drew is to Milwaukee's success.
We all watched the blowout that happened the other night where Boston beat Milwaukee by 41 points. I think whenever we talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, the only name that gets brought up, the name that gets brought up the most is Giannis. The difference between this year's Milwaukee Bucks and the championship Milwaukee Bucks is Chris Middleton is not right. He's not healthy. He's not Chris Middleton that he was during that championship run. If he can get there and get in that rhythm, Milwaukee can beat anybody. Giannis is going to win a lot of regular season games because he doesn't take nights off. And he literally goes at you time in and time again. I'm going to ask you guys a question real quick. I want to see if anybody can get it. We watched that 41-point blowout. Giannis obviously had the most shots on Milwaukee. Anybody want to guess who had the second most shots on Milwaukee that game?
On Milwaukee, you
Grayson
said?
Allen. Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen second most shots in Milwaukee in that game. Giannis had 27. Somebody had 14. It's Bobby friggin' Portis. Bobby Portis shouldn't have the second most shots on your damn team. When you have Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, even Grayson Allen can shoot at times. Jay Crowder's over there. They have depth, but Chris Middleton isn't right. And when Chris Middleton is right, a lot of spacing opens up for that team where they can essentially play Giannis, drive the lane with 4 shooters on the outside. They can't do that right now. But I think home court advantage matters a ton, and I'll give you an example of what I mean. You bring up Boston, Milwaukee. Boston is a great team, and they travel well. But Boston, Philadelphia is the conversation that I kind of want to gear it towards. At Boston, Philadelphia doesn't have a snowball's chance of hell of winning more than 2 games in a 7-game series. They're going to win 1 game out of 4 if they're at Boston, and that's on a good day, if possible. In Philadelphia, it's more of a coin flip. So if Philadelphia gets that 2 seed and Boston gets the 3, you have an opportunity to watch Philadelphia have a chance to win in that playoff series. However, Philadelphia's almost locked in that 3 seed, and Boston's going for the 1 seed, which I hope they get, because I'll tell you right now, there's only 1 team in the NBA in a 7-game series I don't think Philadelphia can beat, and it's Boston.
Hey, Doug, they're not ready for that debate, sir. They're not ready for that debate. Let's just be honest. Because Gene have not came into realization yet, but it'll take him some time. It'll take time, because
I've never seen so much hype over a 7-seed 500 basketball team ever in my life. Y'all are the Atlanta friggin' Hawks, and you're telling me how great you guys are.
You know why? Because you're still, in your mind, is still judging us pre-trade.
No, I watch you guys play basketball. LeBron plays shadow defense. He's playing shadow puppets, not playing any defense whatsoever, and you're beating up on bad teams in the West right now. Your schedule has been pathetic. Give me a good team you guys beat in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I'll tell
last
you
month.
Thing. I know the game last night, it was a battle.
Versus Minnesota?
Hey, brother, listen, Gene, I'm going to tell you this, bro. There early in the year we played the same bad teams, and we cannot break loose.
So you guys are beating the bad teams now because you have added defensive presence and have a point guard that's not completely incompetent.
Gene,
is that what you're telling me?
No,
okay, good.
Gene, no, what I'm telling you, because I know you want to be biased toward the subject. I understand it, brother.
Biased.
I understand.
It's a 500 team that gets conversation.
We're not 500
all the time. It makes no sense.
We're actually above 500 now. So, but second. Bro, Anthony Davis has been playing like a monster. And it's time for people, the media, everybody else to change their tune about that brother. Because ever since LeBron has been out, he's been dominated. He's been dominant. He's been carrying the Lakers.
They're looking great versus OKC, man. They look awesome versus Minnesota. They're really beating up Utah. I don't care.
We haven't played Utah yet, but
Chicago.
Okay,
like you guys talk about other 500 teams.
This isn't the same team.
They go into Denver, get a big win in Denver this last month.
Gene, it's not the same team, but you know what? We'll show you. It's coming. This is a team that can play any style of basketball now. Obviously, most of the season, we have not been a half-court team. We've been a full-court team. Our defense and fast break. Now we can play fast break. Now we can play half-court offense. We can lock you up on defense. Do you realize after the trade deadline, the Lakers had the best defensive team in the NBA? Since the trade deadline.
I'm not.
And this is with LeBron James not being LeBron James.
LeBron doesn't play defense. That's probably why you guys have the best defensive efficiency in the NBA since the trade deadline.
But that's fine.
Because he's hurt. He doesn't play defense.
He's not the only player. He's not
you
the only
don't watch him.
He's
Bro,
not the only player in the NBA that he's not the only NBA player that don't play defense. He's not the only player in the NBA to play defense, Gene. So stop that. I don't want to hear that.
None.
I don't want to hear that. There's a lot of players that don't play none in the NBA and still have a chance to win the NBA Finals. I don't want to hear that.
It's incorrect.
But what I'm telling you, though, Gene, is that this team, we have added Vanderbilt. He does the dirty work. Added Vanderbilt. Have you seen this kid, Austin Reeves? Hey, he's showing everybody he's an actual NBA player. He really is, bro. And you know what? We have depth. Like, bro, like
Mo can tell you that we can go 10 or 11 deep on any given night. On any given night, bro. But we'll see. We'll show, let me ask you a question. Who would you take, Lakers or Memphis in the playoffs?
Memphis. Not close.
Who you take, Lakers and Denver?
Denver. Not close.
Man, make me knock my thing down.
I'll take Denver. I'll take Memphis. The only team I would give you a chance against in the playoffs would be Sacramento. You better hope you get Sacramento because that's the only team I give you a chance against to play in the first round of playoffs.
Gene, just know when things come different, I will.
So when they get knocked out in the first round, what excuse will it be this year, Freddie?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched the game yet.
Okay, so there will be an excuse though.
I doubt that it will be an excuse. But we're being honest. Like you keep judging us like we're that old team. We're
no.
not,
I watch you guys play basketball. I watch you guys. You keep saying that you don't give me any credit that I don't watch Lakers basketball. They're on national television every friggin' night because LeBron James plays there. I watched them play basketball.
Actually, it was before LeBron was there. We would still get a lot of those national games. So don't say because LeBron's there. That's not true.
Yeah, but you guys max them out because LeBron's there. You weren't getting max games in 18, 17, 16. You weren't.
Go look it up, bro. We was number 2. Even Golden State win those championships. We was number 2.
Okay. My point being is I watch plenty of Lakers games. I watch them play. Their style of defense will not win in the playoffs. And if you keep talking about
number one defensive rating is not going to win a championship.
LeBron hasn't played for a month. He's going to be on the court for 30 minutes. He plays statue defense. He flails his arms at people in the lane, has awful body language towards his teammates. LeBron James is over the hill.
What about Nikola Jokic? Do he play elite defense?
He doesn't play elite defense. He plays effort. He puts effort on the defensive end of
the
floor.
He do. He do.
100% does.
Okay. I disagree with you on that one. Okay.
Of course you do. You just make guys' names up.
He plays no defense, bro. Every time we play Jokic, AD give him the work. He can't guard nobody.
He can't guard nobody, or he can't guard AD and
I don't just. I've never seen him go out there and say, you know what, I'm gonna go lock this guy up. I've never seen that.
He can't guard nobody, or he can't guard AD and Joel Embiid.
He can't guard. There's a lot of players that give him the work.
Name me a third.
Big Cat.
Cat? You think he has issues with Cat? Soft as
yes.
Big butterscotch yes. Crimpets Cat?
Yes. Cat still get his numbers on him. Rudy Gobert.
Pull up the stats. Show me.
I will. I'll send them to you.
And you'll be dead wrong as you always are.
You know what? Give me 1 second. Let me pull
Coach, can I ask you a question real quick? You watch a ton of basketball. You do tons of Lakers games. You do live videos on them. If there was how many players?
Don't let him
persuade you. With that, be honest. You know I'm gonna be honest. I'm not biased towards nobody. I don't like the Lakers, but I don't.
So do you think that LeBron James plays defense let's just say there's 32 teams. There's 12 players on each team. That's 360 players in the NBA. Would you say he's top 250 in defense?
I don't know about all that, but I'm not gonna say he don't. Like him and Nikola Jokic, they both put up the effort. I'm not gonna. LeBron ain't the same defensive player he used to be, but it's more than LeBron on that team. You just gotta give credit where credit due, man. No matter how bad the schedule is, you just beat who is in front of you. That's all it is. They struggle.
Coach, I got a question for you, Coach. When it matters, have you seen LeBron play defense when it matters? I'm talking about when it matters. Not a regular season game, when it matters. Coach.
Talking about 4 years ago?
I'm just saying, like I said, I don't think he's anemic on the defensive side. I don't think he's anemic on the defensive side. I'm not gonna say he don't try. I believe he tries. I believe he tries out there on the defensive side. He's just not the same defender he once was. He's just not an elite defender, but he tries. He tries on the defensive side. He tries on that.
You watch the games like I do, brother. Because all I'm saying is, me and you both agree that LeBron, first 3 quarters, he's not going to play elite defense. He's not going to play lockdown defense. He's not going to play it. But when the game's on the line, when it matters, we've seen him get in the defensive stand and play defense. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, right. Everybody, when the game is on the line, that's the time you're supposed to arrive and play some defense. When the game is on the line. But I'm not going to say he's a horrible defender. I'm not going to go say he's a horrible defender. Like, he don't try on the defensive side. I'm pretty much sure he tries on. It'd be some plays he takes plays off. He does take plays off at times, but as far as a horrible defender, I don't know if I can go
He
there.
trying to make it sound like he's James Harden. James Harden. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you why Gene is getting kind of upset, because he knows what's next, what topic is next, and he know where I'm going, and it's gonna be a battle, just like it is in the big man. Hey, and congratulations to the NBA, because for years, especially when Golden State was winning the championship, they were saying that the big man era is over. They were saying that it's over. But we just see right now we're seeing the battle of the big men.
Mo, question for you: who has a better defensive efficiency rating this year, LeBron James or Chris Paul?
Chris Paul.
Okay, just checking, because you just said earlier that Chris Paul plays zero defense, right?
I said he's not the defensive player he used to be. He's not really what I call a stopper now.
So LeBron James in 08-09, it was his best defensive season ever. His defensive rating was 99, which is very good. Anything below 100 is elite, right? That's what he was in his prime. Actually, I'm lying. 11-12, 97.3. LeBron James in 2015, a championship run, 102.6. That's still pretty good. When you get to the 108s, 109s, 110s, Chris Paul's at a 111. You're right, man. His defensive efficiency has slipped. Early in his career is 94.
No doubt.
You know what LeBron James is this year, last year?
What,
Probably
120?
113. It's one of the worst in basketball.
But
we
Gene,
can
you're
pretend
missing the point,
that
bro.
LeBron James, and if you bring up the damn playoffs again, Freddie, when you guys haven't sniffed the second round since the damn bubble, I don't want to hear it.
Gene, one thing that you're missing is that, like I said, when it matters, LeBron will play defense. That's all I'm gonna say. And you will see it in his playoffs.
Okay.
Because since he's been back, I know he's only been back, 2 or 3 games, but I think LeBron knows that the way this team is playing, that he's going to have to buy into the way that they're playing. What I've seen these last couple of games, that he's playing more off the ball, that he's passing the ball more. He's not being the same guy before the trade deadline. That's all I'm saying. But let's move it to the big man era, because we got to show the big men some love. Because like I said, they're back. The NBA MVP. We only have a few more games left. You have Jokic, Embiid, Giannis. Those are going to be the finalists. If you had to choose who the MVP is going to be, and we're going to let Gene go last. We're going to let Gene stew. We're going to let you stew on this debate, sir, because I know this hit home real good for you, brother. Hey, it hits home. Mo, who's your MVP?
Who do I think's going to win, or who would I choose as MVP?
Both. Give me both.
I think Jokic is going to be your MVP. Giannis would be my MVP, just because of what he does on both ends of the floor, his impact. Again, just like Joker, his team, best record in his conference. Giannis is just so imposing on both ends of the floor. And look, you can't hate on Joker. His skill set, his ability to attack you at touch, they run the offense through him. A center that averages 10 assists a game, man, that's amazing in itself. But if you watch a Denver's game, these aren't fluke stats. He's an amazing passer. His court vision is almost point guard like. Jokic is the real deal. You can take all three and make a case why all three are deserving. I don't think there's a wrong answer, but if it were me, I'm taking Giannis. My gut feeling is, because of what he's done, and it's almost on a historic pace, I think Joker's going to win his third MVP.
Coach?
I picked Giannis to win the MVP throughout the regular season. He was my regular season MVP, start of the year, but he's not going to get it. He's not going to get it because he sat out too many games and he was hurt. He was hurt a lot this year. Times that he wasn't on the court. Joel Embiid, they may start resting him like they did against Denver. I think that will take a hit on him when they rest him. But Joel Embiid deserves the MVP award, but I'm going to go with Jokic. I'm going to say Jokic wins the MVP. I mean, what he do with his teammates, how well he creates shots for other guys, and that's by itself The offense runs through Jokic. He creates the shots that Kevin Porter Jr., that Michael Porter Jr. get, that Jamal Murray them get, that Aaron Gordon get. He creates those shots. He creates those shots for them to add, like Murray said. I mean, to average 10 assists as a big man like that and to run through offense through Jokic and him setting other guys up and getting them open shots and get them open looks. I think he's not the best defender. He's not the best defender, but I do think he gives effort on that side of the ball. You know, you're not going to stop a guy like AD in a post. You're not going to stop a guy like Cat. They're going to get their points, but he puts the effort in playing some very good defense. He's a very good rebounder too. Defensive rebounder. Hey, he's double digits and he's down to double digits in rebounds. So you want to challenge his defensive ability. Hey, defensive rebounds, that's part of defense. That's part of defense. So to average damn near a triple-double as a big, that's impressive. But not only is that, it's how well he set up guys, how well he set up and create a shot for each and every one of his teammates on the court and make those guys better So I believe Jokic is gonna win it. The only reason I don't think Joel Embiid is gonna win it is because so a lot of times they set him out. They set him out a lot, and I think that's what's going to kind of hurt him. So I'm going Jokic as the MVP.
Man, this MVP was so set up for Joel Embiid a few weeks ago. It really, really was, because the narrative, they was getting tired. He was going to start treating Jokic and Embiid and Giannis just like they give the LeBron treatment. Even though we know you're dominating, we're tired of the back to back to back to back. We're tired of that. But when Embiid missed that Monday night against Jokic in Denver, I was like, no, Embiid, you can't do that, bro. Like, do you know what's on the line? Like, hey, this MVP is on the line. Like, I believe he would have came out there and he would have dominated. The MVP would have been Joel Embiid's. It would have been. Most definitely would have been Joel Embiid's. But for him missing that game and missing the games that he's missed, it has to go to Jokic. I mean, it really has to. I mean, Jokic is nearly, that coach said, is averaging a triple-double. This isn't Russell Westbrook. This isn't LeBron James. This is a big man, your center. He's the one initiating the offense. Everything goes through him. Joel Embiid has a better team, but Jokic's team is number one in the West. Not in the East, where you have four strong cases. In the West, where 1 through 7 can win the championship. 1 through 7. And Jokic have carried them. Even though when they went through that losing streak, Jokic was still putting up big numbers. He was still putting up numbers. Everything goes through him. Jokic don't have a James Harden. Jokic don't have a Tobias Harris, a Maxey, or any of those guys.
You're laughable, bro. You can tell you don't watch basketball. You just watch Lakers
basketball.
So
since when
you're laughable, bro. You're like, your stats and what you say outside it is literally laughable, bro. I love you, bro, but you should just stick to Lakers basketball. You should do a Lakers show and just talk Lakers sports, because you don't know what the hell you talking about.
So since when did Jokic have a James Harden?
He's Jamal Murray, bro. Michael Porter.
That's not James
Aaron
Harden.
Gordon. What are you talking about?
Those are respectful pieces, but they're not James Harden, bro.
You know that you're talking about East-West, right? You know the best 3 records in the NBA are in the East, right? You know the best 3 title chances.
But the most depth was in the West. That's what I'm talking about.
Say what you want to say, but these guys play both conferences, and there's a lot more dog shit teams in the West than there are in the East too.
I disagree on that.
The worst team in basketball is in the West.
Bro, listen, Gene. I understand that this hit home to you.
Oh,
I
you
understand
just say
that.
dumb shit, bro.
No, I understand that this hit home for you, bro. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray are good pieces. They're good pieces. They really are.
Okay.
But they're not a James Harden that can go out there and give you 20 points and 11 rebounds and 6 rebounds. 11 assists and 6 rebounds either. They're not that guy, bro. They're not.
Jamal Murray can't give you 20 points a game?
Jamal, yeah, I mean he can, but what about the assists that James Harden giving you?
Well, Jokic is their offense is ran through Jokic. So
Jamal
Murray's not going to give you the assist because that's not how the offense is designed.
Well, because they know their best, they know their best way of winning basketball is through Jokic.
It's too, first of all, and the narrative Joel Embiid doesn't play games is kind of laughable too, because Joel Embiid and Jokic have played a difference of 3 games this year. Like, y'all need to stop that stupid narrative.
Yeah, because
That
of
just don't
recently,
make sense.
because Jokic just starts not because he's dealing with a calf injury. Yeah,
Joel Embiid scores better and stops the opposition from scoring better. He's a better defender, and he puts the basket in the bucket better. Period. What are we talking about? Jokic is the offense runs through Jokic, which means his assist numbers are a little inflated from what they should be, and their defensive efficiency scheme is designed for Jokic to get the rebounds. Teams box out so Jokic can get the rebound for the outlet pass. Jokic is a stud. He's incredible. I'm not going to undermine what Nikola Jokic has done because my guy's in the MVP race and should win it. You bring up Monday with his calf injury and him sitting out Monday versus Denver. He wanted to play. The team sat him out because he has a calf injury.
he didn't want to play bad enough, bro.
Bro, you say that.
You think that was Kobe Bryant?
You are not in that
said,
locker
no,
room.
you sit out.
You are not in that locker room. You are not in that situation.
I'm not going to let you
you're
go
not
with that, bro.
close to the team.
Gene, I'm not going to let you go with that. You think if Kobe Bryant wanted to play in the organization, no, Kobe, you're not playing.
Kobe Bryant.
What do you think would happen?
Cachet.
Joel
Embiid has played not one postseason in his career 100% healthy. And that's not anyone else's fault but Joel Embiid's, because he wants to play down the stretch, and the 76ers want to win the NBA Finals. And if Joel wins MVP, great. But they want him healthy for the playoffs. And at the ass end of a road trip at Denver at 100 miles above sea level, they didn't want him playing on that calf injury and pushing himself. They sat him out.
Why has he dug Jokic
that is
for the
your
last
only
couple
argument
years in Denver?
And if that is your only argument, because he didn't dominate Jokic again, because when they played earlier in the season, Joel Embiid made him a laughingstock, abused him like he wasn't there, dropped 47, 24, and 6. Did you not remember that game?
That was so long ago. Remind us, Joel Embiid. Why are you ducking Jokic?
Why would you duck somebody that you abuse every time you play them?
Because you know what's on the line. If you really want the MVP, if you want to show that you're the best big man,
him because
if you show us that if he want to show that he's the best big man in basketball, that's why.
He does. Every time they play, he abuses him.
Well, yeah, in Philadelphia, but what about in Denver?
Oh my God. It's an ass end of a road trip down the stretch.
Just like you just said, Gene, just a minute ago. You know teams play better on their home court. Well, on their home court, what about on the road?
Listen, if I was the 76ers organization and Joel Embiid wanted to play, I would allow him to play. That is not my decision. But if you're making a decision on MVP based off the fact that Joel Embiid didn't play at Denver, I don't know what to tell you. He scores 7 or 8 points more per game. His defensive efficiency is a million times better. He has 65 more block shots this year. 65. Like, what are we talking about? I'll listen to an argument for Giannis. He didn't play enough. I'll listen to that argument. I'm not listening to people making an argument. And
who shot the ball better?
What do you mean shot the ball better? Hey, so Joel Embiid has a higher percentage of made shots. This is the first year Jokic has shot the 3 ball with a higher percentage. Joel Embiid also gets to the line more than, and he shoots better, 85% at the free throw line versus Jokic's 81. And I'm doing this with a black phone and no stats off the dome. So stop it, Freddie.
I'm just saying.
Stop it.
I'm just saying. Jokic is shooting the ball better.
Just from 3. That's it. His
efficiency not just from 3. From
what's
the
his field goal
percentage?
Not for 3-point percentage.
Jokic is 55.3 from the field, and Embiid is 54.4.
Are you for real? That's the stat that you just brought up?
No, my bad. Let me correct myself. It's even better. Jokic is 63.4. Joel Embiid is 54.4.
There's no way Jokic is 63.4 from them.
Go look it up.
I'll look it up right now, but you're wrong. There's no way.
It is. Like, hey.
63.4. You're right. 9th in the NBA. 8th in the NBA.
Hey, I was going to career. Dang. Like, bro, like that stuff matters, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it matters when you shoot the ball way less. I get it.
And then the assist. I mean, we can't just knock that the dude is averaging 10 assists a game.
Okay.
So
And Joel Embiid is a way better defensive player.
we agree on that. We agree.
Okay. So what's your point?
I'm just saying that it evens out.
It doesn't even out.
It do even out.
And by the way, the argument earlier was that the Denver Nuggets had the best record in the NBA. And now that the 76ers have the same record, the narrative will get changed again. It's going to get changed again. I think Jokic sits out the next 2 weeks and gets ready for the playoffs. And I think Joel Embiid runs away with the MVP. So if you got some money, throw it on Joel Embiid now. Why it's around even money, why it's around flat. I think Jokic sits out the majority of the rest of the season because Denver's all but locked up the 1 seed. So if you got some money to throw around, you want to win some quick money, they're not taking this one from Joel Embiid. I'm sure of it.
And you could be right. I wouldn't be surprised if he do sit out. But right now, we're just talking about as of right now.
No, we're talking about what our predictions are. That's what our predictions. What
our predictions? Well, you're probably right because I mean he's missing. He's going to miss again tonight. So I mean you're probably right about that. But as of right now, it's Jokic. But it could change. Like you said.
Nope, it's not Jokic because Embiid is the betting favorite. He's minus 170. Jokic is plus 175. And that number is going to consistently get wider and wider and wider because the more games Jokic sits out down the stretch, and God forbid if Joel Embiid plays more games by the end of the year than Jokic, because then what would the argument be?
It's saying that we're holding things accountable. We're being consistent.
Okay. Well, Embiid wins the MVP this year. Next question.
I'll tell you one thing. You're going to be just like Jordan. If Lamar get traded, he's going to be hurt. If Embiid don't get it, you're going to be hurt.
Bro, of course I'm going to be hurt. I don't pretend that I'm not a fan. That's why we all got into this industry to begin with. I'm a fan, just like you're a fan, just like you get overly emotional when the Lakers lose a game in the regular season. We all get that way.
Gene,
if you don't get that way, I question your fandom.
Hey, Gene, just let you know I've worked on it because ask Coach Dante, boy. I used to go on the rants, boy. I didn't tell. I said, Lakers, y'all not going to run my blood pressure up anymore because they used to, man.
Hey, but Freddie, you could look at it this way: whenever your team just starts doing bad, you can do like you did in the NFL and just switch.
No, I can't do that. I love the Lakers too much, bro. I can't do that. Hey, hold on, Gene. I kept it straight all along, though. I've always been a Giants fan. You have to understand why I did that, though. But
we're getting in the NFL. We can talk about it shortly.
Let's change the topic to the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins, right after the season, there was a report that came out that the Cardinals could be looking to trade him. We haven't heard of anything of no trades or anything yet. We've seen him with the live video with Dez Bryant talking about, where he want to go. But he has not been moved yet. Do you believe D-Hop will be traded? I'll start it off. I believe so. I believe that there's a team that needs him, and this team is in the AFC. I can see the Kansas City Chiefs trading for DeAndre Hopkins. They just lost Juju to the Patriots. They need a number one option now. I know you got Travis Kelce, but I'm talking about in the wideout position. If the Chiefs get DeAndre Hopkins, you talking about being lethal. And then I can see them drafting a few receivers in the draft as well, because I do believe that the Chiefs need help in the wideout position. But I can see them going to the Chiefs. Gene, do you see anywhere anybody picking up for him, or who would you like to see?
I mean, I think that the Chiefs are a great answer. That's where I projected him to go 2 months ago when he requested a trade. The Arizona Cardinals didn't speculate that they were going to trade DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins asked to be traded because he's tired of playing with a baby in the pacifier in that backfield with Kyler Murray. If he doesn't go to the Kansas City Chiefs, there are 2 teams that have the salary cap and have a need for a number one wide receiver. I think he fits very well into a team like the New England Patriots. They need it, number one, and he's a Belichick type guy. Hard worker, does everything that he needs to do on the football field, and not a big talker. But the other team that I could see that making a trade for him, and This would be very, very against their character, but I could see it happening. If the Green Bay Packers, when they trade Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets and they get a huge haul back that will give them enough to be able to, number one, will give enough salary cap to be able to bring in DeAndre Hopkins, and it will give them enough trade assets to get DeAndre Hopkins there. So don't be surprised if the Green Bay Packers reach out to Arizona to get Jordan Love, a number one wide receiver, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Coach Dante?
I'm gonna throw a sleeper team that I think that do need a wide receiver. I definitely 1000% agree with Gene. I think the Patriots could be the choice. They do need a number one receiver after losing Jacoby Myers. But I'm gonna say I think the Tennessee Titans should be actually in play. I don't like their receiving core. I don't like their receiving core at all. I think they're a very young receiving core. Treylon Burks came on strong late during the season, but I'm not too impressed with their receiving core. I think they need DeAndre Hopkins is a fit in Tennessee. Now you do got to get a quarterback over there. You do got to get a quarterback over there. I don't think they're going to stay with Ryan Tannehill long. I don't think they don't have no faith in Malik Willis, how he played last year. So I think a quarterback needs to be in discussion, but I think Tennessee do desperately kind of need a number one receiver. I'm not really that excited about their receiving core, but I do think the Patriots, it could be the best option for Devontae Parker has not worked over there with New England as well. So I think the Patriots is a good answer. That's my number one answer. But a dark horse is basically I don't like Tennessee Titans. I don't think they have a number one. I think putting DeAndre Hopkins in Tennessee would definitely help out a quarterback in that situation. Help out anybody who's quarterbacking in that situation.
Before I let Mo go, I want to say something. New York Giants, get on the phone. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley was our offense last year. We came in the league with a whole bunch of wideouts. That was supposed to be the number ones. We traded Kadarius Toney. Galladay was a hot mess. Sterling Shepard got hurt. I mean, I just see we just got Darren Waller, was a nice pickup. The fourth best tight end in football, in my opinion. But you bring a DeAndre Hopkins, that brings a whole nother dynamic to that team.
But the problem with the New York Giants, and this has always been the problem, is they're still trying to fix the mistakes that Dave Gettleman made with contracts because their cap space, and they still haven't signed Saquon Barkley to a long-term deal. He's locked up on that franchise tag, and they still only have $2.2 million of cap space. And that's what trying to get a long-term deal with Saquon Barkley. The Giants are in a bad cap situation this year. It would fit way better for them next year. I think you have one more year of mediocrity. And if Daniel Jones can continue to ascend up, next year would be the year where I think the Giants could be real in play for a lot of big name free agents. As 2024, a lot of their dead money comes off.
I'm not going to say mediocrity. I mean, they made the playoffs this year, bro. Won a playoff game. It's a trend up. But I don't expect them to go get worse from that. Just saying. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be the best team in that division because, in my opinion, Philadelphia still is. But I think
they're the fourth best team in that division going into the season. And I mean that with no hate.
I say they fight. I say the third.
Okay, that's fair. And I get that. I just think Washington's going to be a lot better with Eric Bieniemy there. And I think their defense is so stout, getting everybody back healthy for this year. And I hate giving the Commanders any credit. I'd actually prefer to say the Giants would be number 3. I just look at their receiving core and what Daniel Jones has to throw the ball to, and it's tough for me to see them being anywhere above 3 or 4.
No, I agree. And they're going to be relying on Darren Waller a whole bunch because unless they go out and they draft a stud receiver in the draft. But I guess we'll just see. Mo, where do you think D-Hop will be? Do you think he'll get traded? If so, where?
Well, I think he's getting traded. Look, if he went to the Chiefs just for the wow factor, who as a fan, who wouldn't buy into that and want to see that? Look what Mahomes did with look what Mahomes did with, I would say, average receivers. Outside of Travis Kelce, of course. I'm just talking about the receivers as a whole. A guy like D Hop with his route tree, his ability to attack the ball, he's going to help anybody, and he would definitely help a young quarterback. So I do like the idea of the Packers pursuing him for love. Maybe even Chicago would give him a look. Like you said, the Giants have cap issues, but it would change Daniel Jones' life if he had a B Hop. Remember, B Hop doesn't just help the quarterback, he helps the other receivers. He makes them better because of the attention that he draws. So, yeah, he's going to get traded, but I'm not for sure where he's going to go. I like the Chiefs just for the wow factor.
Yep, I agree. Gene raised his hand, so he didn't want to see him there, but
no, I definitely don't. You can't give the greatest quarterback that we're watching in the next 10 years a weapon like that, man. You might as well write the season off.
And hey, I even see a report that a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, they was talking about D Hop and OBJ. Somebody Des Bryant put that on Twitter, said to the Chiefs, and guess who liked the tweet? Patrick Mahomes. But
you know who disliked the tweet? The rest of the league.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, but hey, man, NFL's coming up, a few months, from now, and we're still waiting on the Aaron Rodgers fiasco, trying to see, what's going on with that. Green Bay is being stubborn, which they should, but we'll see. We'll see. The draft is coming up, and I would expect the trade to be done sometime close to the draft, before the draft or the night of the draft. This is the time where Gene and Coach will give us their opening week reaction for the MLB season to let us know. Let you guys let you guys know what they thought of the open week so far and what to expect in the upcoming week or so. Whichever one you guys want to go first.
Okay, Coach.
I'll follow you first. Go ahead, Gene.
All right. So if I told you there was only one team in baseball that was 2-0, and it was the Colorado Rockies, you would laugh at me. Colorado has beat which most people's preseason favorite to win the World Series, the San Diego Padres, 2 straight games. That is a crazy start to an MLB season. But there's 162 of them, and I think that overreactions happen so often the first month of the season in April when teams are still getting everything down. There's one thing I will tell you this. There's some ridiculously good pitchers in the MLB, and to be able to watch like Dylan Cease had an incredible game versus that great Houston offense the other night. Shane McClanahan, another 6-inning shutout for Tampa Bay. Garrett Cole looked like Garrett Cole for the Yankees. So we watched a lot of baseball opening day. It's always fun. Today is another huge day for baseball. Yes, Garrett Cole. By the way, I need to understand this because Daniel Berry's been talking a little bit of smack. I love you in the chat, right? He said Garrett Cole, which makes me feel like he's a Yankees fan. He said that he's a Lakers fan earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to post your teams for me, Daniel, because I'm thinking, just thinking, it's going to be like a Jordan type situation.
All right, Doug.
Yankees, Lakers, Alabama football, Duke basketball. That's laughable, but whatever. But back to MLB, I think that they'll overrate a lot of teams in the first week or two of the season. But there's 3 things I'm absolutely certain about. No matter what, the Oakland A's, the Cincinnati Reds are going to suck, and they will be the worst teams in baseball. The Washington Nationals are a pathetic excuse for a baseball organization. And teams that are like Oakland, Cincinnati, Washington should be forced to hit a salary floor. There needs to, and we talk about salary cap, right? There needs to be a floor in Major League Baseball. And these teams, what they do is all but laughable. I hate having to watch someone like Sandy Alcantara start his career and have to stay with Miami for 5 years when they don't want to put a team around them. I hate when I watch superstars like Key Brian Hayes or O'Neal Cruz have to start their career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I hate watching young stud baseball players get stuck in baseball purgatory on teams that put nothing into their program. Oakland needs to move to Las Vegas yesterday and make that team into a formidable team. There's no parity in MLB. In the National League, the odds are almost negative money. I'm not sure how big of bettors you guys are, but it's almost minus money. It's barely plus money to predict the same 6 teams to make the playoffs in the National League. Do you know how absurd that is to get a 6-game parlay at almost minus money? They're saying it's a 50-50 shot that not one new team makes the playoffs in the National League. And that's pathetic. That's a problem. The parity is not there. And Major League Baseball's changes that they've made so far to start the season are very welcomed. Games are finishing an average of 23 minutes quicker than they were last year with the pitch clock. 33 stolen bases on opening day. So the pickoff moves and the stolen bases back. And teams, the big power lefties that were affected by the shift, we will see how that works out for them in the future. We haven't seen too much of it in the first 2 days. And you normally don't, because all the aces are on the mound for teams. But what you'll see over this weekend is a lot more high-scoring games. I would blindly bet the over. I'd be really interested to see if you put $100 on every MLB games over this entire weekend, how much you'd be up.
Gene, you kind of stole my question. I was going to ask you, what did you think of the shot clock, the new pitch clock? Do you like it, or what is your reaction to it?
So the Philadelphia Phillies and Texas Rangers had no violations in their opening game, and the game went smooth. When teams get accustomed to it, you're going to see weird things that happen, like in the Mets game where Pete Alonso was walking back to first base to get his batter more time, and then they basically called a strike on him because of it. You're going to see weird instances, but when teams get used to it, I'm telling you right now, it's going to wear pitchers down quicker. It'll get games done faster. The offense will be more prevalent in baseball, and the entertainment level will be higher. It's a win-win-win-win scenario for MLB baseball. And the only people that are against the shot clock and the new rules are very, very old school traditionalists, which, in my opinion, ruin the game of baseball.
All right, Coach.
Yeah, I think a lot of these games went by fast this weekend. But again, I'm O'Neal Cruz hit that down ball a mile. Hit that in Cincinnati. He hit that ball. He hit that ball down there out of the stadium. He's going to be a good and exciting player. Him and Key Brian Hayes. And again, feel bad for the Washington Nationals and the Pirates and the Reds. They're going to stink for a while. The Giants, I don't know if it was Garrett Cole. I don't know if it was Garrett Cole or not. It may be Garrett Cole. I don't like that. I don't like that team. I don't too much feel the Giants too much. I'm not going to get all over the hill because a lot of these teams that we picked to be elite are having some struggles or anything. I'm going to just wait till the end of April or into May. Then that's when I'm going to start. We can know what these teams, probably give a glimpse of what these teams are going to be. But, for my fellow Astros fans, I'm just going to give you a statistic. So if the Astros never starts good in the regular season. They never start off good throughout the first month of the season. So in 2022, our record was 500 at the end of April, 11-11. 2021, we were 12-12 in April. 2019, we were 18-15. So we never do good in the month of April. So all I want to do is tell Astros Nation, calm down. We're going to be fine. Nothing to be worried about. We always start off inconsistent. And, a lot of managers, just trying to get a feel of what lineups they're going to be able to use, what pitchers getting loaded, people still getting the load of the clock error and stuff like that. It's really nothing to go about in baseball right now. You're only 2 games into the season so far of 160. Before us, the end of April or in the month of May, then that's when you can start getting a glimpse on how these Major League Baseball teams are going to really kind of pan out. So right now, the games are going smooth. Games are going more faster. Dylan Cease was just amazing. We couldn't touch him at all. But other than that, I'm enjoying the first 2 days, Major League Baseball. But as the month of April calm down goes on and the month of May comes up, we'll start getting a glimpse how these teams are going to be playing throughout the regular season.
I'll tell you this, though. That home run that Yordan Alvarez hit on opening day, I mean, I'm so jealous that I don't have a player that can hit a ball that far. 442 feet, and he absolutely crushed that ball. Yordan Alvarez is just special, man. You want to talk about – jeez. I love watching that kid hit the baseball.
Yeah, but like I said, if I was a pitcher, I don't give a damn if the base is loaded. I'm walking him. He ain't hitting no home run. I don't care what it is. 442 feet. You got to be a strong guy. You got to be beyond strong to hit a ball that far.
So far.
Hey, Coach, real quick, before we end the show, let the folks know. Go over Caitlin Clark's game last night. Let everybody know what they missed and all that good stuff.
Man, I'm telling y'all, if y'all ain't seen this girl, Caitlin Clark, I'm telling you, go watch this girl, man. And she got another year in college. Ladies cannot come out to after their senior year. This is unfair to have this girl right back in college for next year, dominated. But Caitlin Clark is a beast. If y'all haven't go watch her, go watch her. You know what? You know what her game reminds me of? I call it a Steph Curry of college basketball. Passing, IQ, rebounding all over the floor. She had 7 turnovers last night. But, I mean, you're going to have that against a good defensive team, like South Carolina, who's been dominant. 41 points, a damn near triple-double. That's very good. But I'm going to go to the coach who coached that game very well, who out-coached Don Staley. I guarantee you, South Carolina hasn't seen that defense all year long. They haven't played against that defense all year long. South Carolina could not shoot the ball all year long. Probably the best shooter they got is Zaya Cook on the floor. That's the best shooter that South Carolina has. Most of South Carolina, a lot of dominant wins come off elite defense, rebound, offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding you to death. 6'7", Cordoso, and 6'6", Aaliyah Boston. That's a lot of load and a lot of great defenders on that team. But when Iowa hurt them last night, they shot more three. They made more threes. They made 3 more threes than South Carolina. So what Iowa defense did, you know what they did? They packed the paint. They say, here, Raven Johnson, you can beat me shooting the ball. I can live with that. Zaya Cook, they were playing her different. She's the best player on the team. So every time she come off a pin down, you see a player there. Every time she's trying to break down a dribble, they kind of play up off coast. But, hey, Raven Johnson beat me shooting the basketball. Mayhew beat me shooting the basketball. I like the game plan. Pack the paint. They're gonna get some offensive rebounders because they're bigger, they're taller. They're the more physical team. And I just like the way the coach from Iowa played that game. And South Carolina hasn't shot the ball well all year, and the coach game planned for that. She put everybody in the paint. Nobody guarded the three. Because they couldn't beat them shooting the 3. And Caitlin Clark, you haven't seen that defense all year against Caitlin Clark. They were so confident that they can guard Caitlin Clark with those defenders, with Bree Beal. Caitlin Clark was just going, having a free round in the paint every single time she had a chance to do. So it's a lot of dip looks that both teams haven't seen. But when is the last time you've seen Caitlin Clark go a game without being double teamed and getting jumped on a pick on every time someone set a pick? That's how South Carolina confidence was last night, that they had defenders that can bother her. They didn't do it, and that was a mistake that's Don Staley made last night by not getting the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands. And Caitlin Clark is just that dominant. You got to get the ball out of her hands. I don't care how good of a defensive team you is. You got to jump on every time they set a screen. She is too good to go one-on-one. And I think they underestimated her putting the ball on the floor a little bit, and she was able to do that and pick them apart last night. And they made 3 more threes than they did. Yes, South Carolina dominated on the boards because they're bigger, they're stronger, they're taller. But the defense that they actually played, that was the key to that winning that game. Beat me shooting the ball. They haven't done it all year. They haven't shot the ball well all year. They don't got 3-point shooters on the team. They just got nothing but big, tall ladies and athletes on the team. And Iowa was able to manage that, and great game plan by coach, man. Great game plan by the Iowa head coach.
Coach, I want to offer this. I'll offer it to you. If you want to take it first, if anybody else wants to take it on the board, y'all are more than welcome to. I will make a Sports Empire merch bet with any one of y'all. LSU is beating Iowa in the finals.
I think
I got LSU.
The Anthony Davis of college basketball, Angel Reese, 24 points, 16 rebounds for LSU is going to dominate that game. And she can hit the midi. And I'll tell you right now, she had her worst game in the tournament 2 games ago, and they still won by 9 points. Then they came out, and she didn't play amazing. She played okay, 11 and 19, and they won last night. That LSU team is going to beat Iowa. Take anybody's money that wants it. Iowa's the favorite. I'm going to give you even money. I will take the underdog. I love LSU in that game Sunday. Now, with Caitlin Clark, she's unbelievable. You want to talk about what the women's basketball needs? They need superstars like Caitlin Clark to do things like what they did. What Coach said was completely accurate. Caitlin Clark looked at South Carolina's three-point shooter, the point guard. I forget her name. You mentioned her twice. And went like this. Go ahead.
They were playing the paint the whole night. That was a perfect game plan.
You shoot it. Go ahead. Laughed at her. Turned her back on.
That was a perfect game plan. Nobody played that defense all year. And now
you can't do that versus LSU.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think LSU can win this game. You look at LSU guard play is way better than South Carolina guard play.
100%.
They have better athletes.
They're way better than South Carolina. LSU guards is better than Iowa. Outside of Caitlin Clark. LSU guard play is better. I mean, Alexis Morris.
Yes, Alexis Moore.
She was nice last night. Alexis Morris with Terry Poole, who can shoot from downtown and also play defense for how big she is. She can shoot from downtown. And you also got Flau'jae Johnson, who's a freshman defensive stopper and can put the ball on the floor. So LSU is I know on paper, South Carolina dominating them, but you can't tell me if South Carolina would have won that game. LSU would have looked at the same damn thing that Iowa did last night, and looked at that game.
Leah Boston had the worst game I've ever seen her play in college basketball.
Yes.
She had the worst game I've ever seen her play in college basketball.
She was frustrated.
And she knew it.
She knew it.
She looked like she was mentally checked out of that game.
That defense was frustrating. She ain't never seen that defense all year long. She hasn't seen that defense all year. I'm afraid it frustrated her really, really bad. That defense, everybody just sitting in the paint. They wasn't even worried about the three. The only person they were worried about was Zaya Cook. She had 20 points, but then they knew what Zaya Cook can do. They knew she's their best playmaker. She's their best playmaker and their best shooter that can. She's the only one pretty much can create a shot by herself. She was the only one that created. So they played her up close. Everybody else forget about it at the 3-point line. That was the perfect defense to play. But I believe LSU can beat Iowa. I believe they can dominate Iowa. They got probably the best center outside of Aaliyah Boston, and they got great guard play. They got better guard play than Iowa. They got outside of Caitlin Clark. They have great guard play.
And they got Coach Mulkey.
Yep.
Coach Mulkey is going to game plan. They're going to blitz Caitlin Clark.
Oh my God, I hate.
And I think they're going to guard her. I think they're going to pick her up 84 feet too. They're going to try to take away her legs.
I hate Kim Mulkey. I can't stand her. I think what she did to Brittany Griner, she should be put in jail for the way she responded. I'm not a Kim Mulkey fan, but she's a hell of a college basketball
coach. She is a hell of a coach.
I cannot take that away from her, but I cannot stand that woman. And any chance I get a chance to bash her, I will, because she had the opportunity to go to war for one of her players that played for her, and she dismissed it like it was not her problem, not her business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but basically, Coach, you said that they gave her the Russell Westbrook treatment, just like how I think it was Golden State, where Draymond was under the goal, and they like, yo, shoot.
Yeah, shoot. They don't have a shooter on the team. They really don't have a shooter outside of, I can't really say Zaya Cook is that good of a shooter. She's not really that good of a shooter at all like that. She's inconsistent, but when she's on. But she's the best shooter that plays on the floor. And that was heck of a game plan. That was really heck of a game plan. And I think South Carolina, by them not taking the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hand and underestimate her ability to break down the defense and dissect the defense. And every time she get a screen and they don't jump her, she was just flying right by, going to the rim with easy layups, or if they play a ISO 1-on-1, she was just going by to the rim, or even shoot the tough contested three, which she makes all the time. But I think South Carolina went in too confident on the defensive side, knowing that they have the defensive players to guard Caitlin Clark. I think they was overconfident on that part, and a smart basketball playing IQ.
Man, I tell you, this was a great, wonderful morning show. The wonderful way to start it off, to kick it off on a Saturday morning. But it gets better to all our viewers. Monday through Friday, you'll be able to see Coach Dante. You'll be able to see Mo. You'll be able to see others. You'll see Gene on Wednesdays. You'll see myself when I close and I'm able to come on. It's going to be a wonderful show. Expect Monday to be another fire show. Coach and Mo will go over all the games that happened over the weekend and all that good stuff. But this is Coffee and Sports Morning Show. I want to thank Gene, Mo, Coach, Dante for coming on. Do you guys have anything you guys want to add before we roll out?
Enjoyed it.
No, I got one thing. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Last month was our best download month ever for Wire to Wire Sports Podcast, which is on Wednesday night. If y'all can do me a favor, we want to beat March. We want to beat March and April. If you guys can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast, our download game has been huge. Lipson is sending us money now. Our W-2 is in the mail.
That's what's up.
I'm super thrilled with everything that's been going on Wire to Wire. So if you guys could give us a download, a share, any type of like, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, sir. And some kind of breaking news. This isn't breaking, but we all expected, but just didn't know when. Dwayne Wade is an official Hall of Famer. So shout out to him and everything that he stood for. Because, we all knew Flash, Wade County down there in Miami. I'm talking about even before LeBron got there, before Shaq got there, he was a monster. Even while he was down there, was a monster. But great for the NBA, great for him and his family.
Flash was the man pre-LeBron.
Oh, you didn't like him after LeBron?
I didn't think he was as good with LeBron there. I think that he took a back seat to win NBA championships, which makes sense, and I understand that. But 2006, Dwayne Wade had argument to be the best player in the NBA. What he did versus the Dallas Mavericks in that finals is you don't see that. And I think that 06 Flash, the way he combined block shots, defense, mid-range, driving to the hole, he did everything. Steals. He was one of the most complete Swiss Army knives of a player that you'll ever watch. So shout out to Dwayne Wade.
But yeah, even more, just see how he sacrificed. You don't see a lot of sacrifice. Like you said, in the NBA, like even when you do get these big threes, a lot of guys still want to be the number one options, but there'll never be another Dwayne Wade, another Steph Curry in the game of basketball. But like I said, great show. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Mo, wonderful debut tonight or this morning. Other than that, you guys, Coach, you got any play-by-plays for us today?
I think WrestleMania is on the network, and I think Doug's stuff is on the network, but I do got some play-by-plays on my personal channel. Yep. Final Four and the Houston Astros baseball game at 1:00.
I love it, Coach. I appreciate all the play-by-plays. Appreciate what you do for the network. It's always fun watching you go live.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for the love and support, and Freddie, bringing me on, man. Like I say, I bring entertainment and probably the best play-by-play out here, and so I just appreciate y'all for having me on, just having me a part.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all take it easy.
Peace.
Take care, y'all.
Peace out.